station rotation model is a great way to personalize learning within your classroom. However, proper planning and organization is a critical part in making sure that this model runs smoothly and effectively in your classroom. In this video, we'll take a look at ways to pre-assess student understanding in order to group students appropriately, and ways to organize and distribute information, directions, and tasks to students. In order to effectively plan for your station rotation, you need to pre-assess students' understanding of concepts that will be addressed within the stations. These pre-assessments can take on many different forms, including an online assessment that's automatically graded, a paper and pencil assessment that is peer graded, a ticket out the door from a previous lesson, a collaborative station activity from a previous station rotation, or a simple rating scale for students saying how comfortable they feel with a specific topic. You can then use these pre-assessments to group students based on their abilities and their knowledge in order to customize and personalize activities at each station. One of the most important things you can do to effectively run a station rotation is to have a good way to distribute information to students. There are many different ways to do this, but we have found through our experience that it's often best to have all the information in one document or one place for students to access. This Google document is an example of how you might organize your information to distribute to students. Whether the students are completing the same activity at each station, or each group is completing a different activity based on pre-assessment data, this document gives clear and explicit directions to each student on what they need to accomplish. And if you're able to put it into a Google Doc format, you can easily link to items outside of the Google Doc that students need to access in other places. Another way that you could distribute your information to students is through the use of a learning management system. This example shows a way that I have used the learning management system that our school has in order to distribute information to students, as well as to give students groups so that I reduce the time needed at the beginning of class. You may also choose to make individual agendas for each station for each different group. While this works great sometimes, it could also lead to you needing to make 9 different agendas and finding ways to make sure that students know which agenda they're supposed to look at. You may color code this or have symbols on the agenda in some other way, but this can sometimes cause a lot of confusion. Now that you have everything planned for your station rotation, the last thing to do is to set up your classroom to prepare for the actual implementation. If you have a classroom with furniture that's easily moved, this is great news for you, as you're perfectly primed to already implement this model. However, if you have a classroom that's difficult to rearrange, don't let this deter you from trying this model. You can run a station rotation in almost any classroom with just a little movement of tables and chairs and desks so that you have different groups and different stations around the room. Planning your first couple station rotation lessons can be a little time-consuming, but the more you do it, the easier it becomes and the more effective it becomes in your classroom. Don't be afraid to take a risk and implement this rotation model in your classroom sometime soon.